been a crazy 24 hours. I was pretty upset in here last night. Rightfully so, I think. But it was never directed about the crew of umpires we had on the field. I thought they were phenomenal. I think they handled everything, and probably the way you should do it. Our league, our AD, everybody who fought. Shoot, I was on the phone with Zach Selman, I think, at 3 in the morning, and back on it at 6:30 a.m. this morning. So long 24 hours or 12 hours. I need a nap is what I need. But I just want to make sure I make that statement that it was a weird thing. But the umpires on the field, like, I just want to make sure we realize that these guys were first class and did an unbelievable job all weekend long.
Steve?
I guess, Coach, maybe what did you learn about your team kind of working through the emotions of the last 24 hours?
Oh, God. They're tough. They'll compete. And there were so many times today we could have folded, and they just refused. And it's been like that all year long. I mean, this hasn't been an easy year. It's been a pretty fulfilling year. But there's been, I feel like the old Rocky movie. We keep getting hit in the nose and keep getting back up. And they can play with anybody in the country.
Robbie?
A few weeks ago, you talked about Tyler Davis. Kind of the difference with him this year is the confidence that he has, and he's had a couple of tough outings the last 2 weeks. You stick with him today, and he gives you 3 shutout innings. I mean, what did you see from him today, and how he's kind of bounced back?
How good was that today? I mean, that was special. He really just had the one outing at Florida. Everything else. We brought him in for one hitter the other night, and we were trying to pitch around that guy. So it's just been one outing. And he had a tough one, and it happens. But he has bounced back from that, and I think that's about as good as he can be out there tonight.
Doug?
Coach, we just passed about a third of the SEC season, about halfway of the overall. What's your assessment right now in terms of successes and challenges that you still have?
Well, I think we got a chance to be a really good team. We got to keep growing and getting better. This was a stressful week. I can tell you that. But they play hard, man, and we're talented. So you put those two together. There's some things we can do better. We've kind of let the momentum go away from us in these games this weekend. I think that's the most disappointing side. We get a pick off last night. We get picked off today. We lose our shoe going first to third. Some things that you just, we make the big play. I mean, the biggest thing about the play last night is we had all the momentum in the world, and we gave it back to Georgia at that point. We have to do a better job in those moments, and it's just between the ears a little bit. And they're really good players. I mean, Connor Heisig, who we don't win that game today without Connor Heisig. I'm sure he would like to put his head in the sand on that one, but he is such a good player and playing so hard and leading at such a high level.
Steph?
For you guys, the last couple weekends, you were in those series, you had tight games. Just how big is it to kind of come out right side of a one-run game and you get a series win?
It's huge. It was huge. I mean, that just everything, all the emotion that went into this, and just what you need in the league. You got to get 2 out of 3 at home. And we felt good about it all weekend, and then obviously everything went upside down. And but to get this one today gives you a lot of momentum going into next week, and it's a rivalry week. It's a big week for us.
Steve?
Made the decision to start Nate and kind of an abbreviated outing for him. Where is he?
I don't know. I mean, it wasn't anything major. It just didn't feel comfortable, and I just wasn't gonna mess with it. And so he said go, and then I just shook his head, and it wasn't anything like crazy, but he just wasn't comfortable, and I wasn't going to put him out there anymore. He's too valuable. He has such a long career, and if he's not feeling 100%, I don't want him out there.
Chris?
You talk about the emotion of this weekend. What do you make of the response and the way that your team fought after going down 5-0 early?
Phew. That was a big inning. I mean, for our guys, they could have really put their head down at that point. And that's a scary lineup over there. And the wind's blowing out, and you're a little short on arms on Sunday. For them to come out and Connor Heisig hits the fly ball and never stops running. That's a great play. You could quit. You could put your head down and quit. He wouldn't do it.
Robbie?
The pitching, other than that third inning, for pretty much the whole weekend, you navigated that lineup, one of the toughest lineups in the conference. How do you feel like your guys attacked them from the mound today?
I thought they were great. We've pretty much done that all year, especially in our league. Coach Parker and that staff, they got it going on right now, and they're making a lot of big pitches. Like you said, is that one inning kind of got away from Evan. And that's a tough one for the young pitcher to have to go out there and do all your warm-ups. I don't agree with that rule. They don't care what I agree with, but if you'd like to let that guy warm up in the bullpen and then be able to come out. It's hard to come out because you get rushed and then nothing feels right. And I thought it was kind of tough on Evan there. He's been really good for us of late.
Danny B.
There's a lot of big hits in the game, but just talking about Bill Powell's big double to drive in a run there.
And he hadn't seen live pitching in weeks. He's got 2 hits, I think, over the last day, and hadn't been out there and kind of got rushed into it. But man, he played well. I thought he caught great too. But we just kept bouncing back, all parts of our lineup. And I said this on the radio a minute ago. Poor Hunter Hines, we could have rolled it up there. He couldn't have hit it earlier in the game, and he gets probably the biggest hit of the game.
Steve.
Coach, heading into the weekend, Connor Hyzak had the highest batting average and on-base percentage on the team in SEC play. A lot of people get the headlines about DJ and Hunter, but he's kind of quietly putting together a pretty dangerous season. What has he meant to this lineup to kind of give it some length?
Yeah, it's him and Bryce. I mean, Bryce is playing really well. I think both those guys are playing great. But Connor does so many things for you. He's athletic. He runs. He hits for power. He's just and he's just super competitive in the box. He's just putting a lot of balls in play hard. I mean, I don't know. I think he got an error on the one ball, but man, that's a really, really hard play. They got hit up the middle there to win it.
Steph.
You're talking about this team not having quitting it. I guess is it the veteran leadership? What do you kind of give credit to there of why this team is doesn't have that?
I don't know. I would like to think it's some of those older guys. Usually I say it's Johnny Long, but his ass was back home, so he had to come out of the stadium. So they were yelling "Free Johnny" in the locker room when I just walked in here. So, but usually you got some of that with Johnny, and he's such a tough, hard-nosed kid, man. He has brought that. Cam Schilke's brought that. Cal Steven has brought that to a group that's gone through some ups and downs and been hardened through the years. So I think it's a combination of all of it.
Sammy.
You said yourself it was a back and forth battle on the diamond today, and after last night, high emotions. Today, walking off that mound was electric for everybody coming out of the dugout. Just talk to me about the emotions after Davis threw that final strike.
Exhausted. I'll be honest with you. I wish I could be excited. I'm worn out right now. Gave all the coaches a hug. I know our kids felt that way. You're proud of them as a coach.
Robbie.
I don't want to rehash it too much, but what was kind of Johnny's reaction to how things unfolded last night, and what have you kind of seen from him?
He was crushed. He was crushed. I mean, it's you have a kid. He plays with a lot of edge. Probably hasn't played in this emotional environment as much, and just got the best of him. He is such a wonderful kid, and it's such a great addition to our team. I hated it for him. I hated it for him, and I knew it beat him up. It probably beat him up more that everybody else got pushed out with that. I think that weighed on him a lot, but he's at the top of our clubhouse in terms of leadership. So I'm sure he'll be hanging out with the guys and having a good time here in a little bit. So he'll be right back in the mix.